Is there any, I mean, at least in the, you go for an investment or a VC pitch or whatever, what is the accepted numbers? You have any
So
typical?
actually, Balaji, that's a very variant answer, because depending on the industry, depending on your price tag, depending upon your competition, and your stages of funnel, right? All of these will change, right? In fact, I'm going to show you why and how you manage that piece of it also.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, but thank you for the question, Balaji. Okay. Anybody else? Any other questions you have on this funnel right now?
Yes, ma'am. Yeah. Thank you very much for this presentation. It's very nice. I think it's useful things. And then this like you mentioned, number of visitors required. No, that is our forecasting. That how much we need per month to visit. That is the number we have to put there.
Sorry, Arshad, I'm not able to hear you clearly. Shruti, if you can hear, can you clarify what he's saying? I have a very strong echo from his voice.
Is it clear now?
Yes, it's better.
Clear now. Yeah, go on.
Yeah, yes, ma'am. Yeah. So my question is like number of visitors you mentioned, no?
Yes.
Number of visitors. That is our forecasting that we have to put in that per month, right?
The number of visitors has come as a calculation based on the percentages that you put in.
That is automatically coming there?
Yes, it is automatically coming.
Okay.
So you have to just make sure that you fill it in the gray cells only. Okay, the gray highlighted cells.
Okay.
The formulas will take care of all the rest of it.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay.
The question is there.
Yes, please.
Can I continue, Anil Deshpande?
Yes, Anil, go ahead.
Just in your Excel, I missed the link to understand how 1800 is coming from the top first entry after.
So 1800 is calculated. Yeah, it's a simple calculation for that. I need to earn 2 lakhs per month, right?
Yeah.
And what is this? So this is, if you see, total of 18 lakhs per month, right? Total leads, and this is about 1,000 rupees per revenue.
Correct, but that is per year or per month?
Sorry. So this is per month, right? Just give me.
Yeah.
You're right. This should be from here. Thanks.
Thanks
Thanks for correcting. Yeah, thank you for correcting that. Okay, so it will take care of the formula by itself, any which way. So let me just make sure that will take care of things, right? So you need to have about 200 invoices, 70%, 60 and 70 and 20. Okay, so it's coming up to about 3,401 people. Thank you for correcting that, Anil.
Thank you.
Okay. Any other questions?
Yeah, hi ma'am. Is this for product or a service, or both of them can use this?
It applies. If you notice, I did not mention what is the product or service. It applies for both.
Both. Okay. What if the service costs are very high, around 50,000 or 1 lakh, 50,000 to 1 lakh? Then all this data will get gray cell. We have to reduce it so that the inquiries will.
Good point, Ram. For those of you who have, let's say, a product and a service, okay, and the pricing between the two is very different, so then you please don't average it out. What you need to do is create a separate sales funnel, a sales and marketing funnel for your product, and a separate sales and marketing funnel for your services. Okay, so you can just copy this sheet into another one and then do it over there, including for those of you who have more than one product itself. Okay, and if the buying cycles are different, the stages are different, the conversion rates are different, the pricing is different, any of these things is different, I would suggest that you create a sales and marketing funnel for each of these products rather than for each of them, rather than try to average it out. Then it loses the power. The power of this tool becomes less if you just average everything out.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you for that question, Ram.
Hi, ma'am. I have a question.
Yes.
So, I have two folded approaches to revenue earning. One is from the consumer part, because ours is a free premium model. So we have consumers who would be kind of, using some of the services for free, and some would be add-on or maybe yearly subscriptions currently. Okay, so it might be like a monthly thing which they can subscribe for a period of time, renew it, or it might be one shot. So as per your last statement, so I have to make 2 different sheets for it, right? So for the one which will be like monthly, I will calculate monthly, and if there are 3 different services within that monthly thing also, it will be 3 different sheets, right?
Yeah, so if your Munmun, one thing is that if your freemium is actually your top of the funnel, for some of you your freemium is the top of the funnel, so then this can, so you can just simply use the freemium over here. You just simply rename this, right? Instead of it's a this one formula here, right? So if you can just simply change the name of the, instead of total number of visitors, you can say total number of premium users. Okay, so you can just simply change that itself. That's one for everybody. So you can adapt this to that. The other thing is, if you have 3 products, now again, the answer to that is that if your number of stages are different for these 3 products, if your conversion rates are different, if the purchase journey is different, then you create 3 funnels. Okay. But if everything is similar, and if you think you're not losing out critical insights by averaging the information, then you can use it as one single funnel for all your products.
Ma'am, because like currently, since we've recently launched, we do not have enough data to understand like which would be the conversion ratios. Okay. So when we say the conversion journey, so like I'll give you a small example, like one in our product range for the subscribers, one of the services is for expert advisory services. Now expert advisory services is something which people may grab considering the price points are very low, or it might just be that people are very skeptical about being on a platform and sharing their the issues. So we currently do not know. On the other hand, we have an interest club where people might be willing to just invest 99 rupee per month and be part of these clubs where there is a lot of interest conversation happening around photography, around travel. So that might be easier. So in that case, should we like kind of put it 2 separately, because I'm not very sure how the conversions would be. Maybe we will need to kind of spend more, or reach out organically more for the experts session rather than the interest clubs. So
good point, Munmun. So in this particular case, I would say 2 different separate funnels. The reason being that your path to purchase would be, that the reason being that your path to purchase for each of these products is different.
Right.
So if you see here, the path to purchase from in this example, is visitors, then they're making inquiries, getting into a pricing feature discussion. This is the path to purchase, right? Whereas when it comes to just the interest, it could be a very quick, so the number of visitors that you reach, and people directly signing up over there, right? Or maybe they creating a login ID, and then third one would be taking the payment. It's a very shorter funnel over there. But when it comes to consulting and all of those advice, expert services, they will take a longer time to make the decision. You may need to do additional things in between rather than that. So then that's where you can keep it as 2 separate funnels. Also, I think the pricing is different over here, right?
Yeah, the pricings are absolutely different.
Then
like
definitely 2 funnels.
When it comes to the monthly one, this is suitable for my business when it is a monthly subscription. But when it comes to the smaller ones, the add-on services, monthly subscriptions, then the funnel looks very different, because since we still do not have hands-on data. The second part to the question was the other aspect of our business revenue model is through corporate collaboration. So we have advertisements and collaborators and commissions which we are going to earn over coming months, I would say, not immediately but in the future. So when we are starting to kind of people kind of working for B2B associations, people who are going to go do the collaborations. In that case, how do we, look into these funnels? Because say like if we reach out to say 10 collaborators, like I'll give you an example. Say if it's an interest club, and if there are 10 bookstores who we want to target in the city, and out of that we know maybe only 2 will sign up, but we have to kind of invest in those 10 bookstores. So how do we take that? Like this now becomes B2B. So if it would good if you can explain a little bit on that aspect also.
Mudmud, the rule remains the same. Okay, if your B2B path to purchase is different from your B2C, simply 2 funnels. As simple as that, right? If your pricing is different, if your conversion rates are different, it is two different funnels. Simple. That applies for everything. Okay. And you've also got a very interesting topic. Another point is, for those of you who have different sales channels or marketing channels, you can actually also create separate funnels for each of the channels to see which channel has a better conversion rates for you. So if you have a physical channel and a digital channel, or in the physical you have a direct channel and you have a partner channel, you can actually use the same funnel to separate funnels and say that, okay, this is my partner funnel, this is my direct funnel, and see the comparison over there and see where your efforts are less but your returns are higher. So if you see, this is a very agile tool which you can use in multiple scenarios. Okay? Perfect. Great. So let me continue. So by now what you've realized is that you can build a funnel. But then what are you going to do with this funnel? What is the use of this funnel? Okay, let's have a look at that now. And how can you also optimize this funnel for yourself? Now, for those of you who see that, okay, to raise 200 invoices per month, I need to get 3,401 customers on my visitors per month. Now, for those of you for whom this is a very difficult number, like, my God, how am I going to get 3,000? I know currently, my number of visitors is just touching 1,000. Okay, so how can I even get to 200? I mean, how do I get to 3,400? Right now, if that is your tension, the fear, what happens is, one is that when you put in these numbers and build this funnel at the first phase, you can see these numbers and you can see that, hey, which of these is actually doable and which one do you think is just about impossible for you to do. Right? So you become clear that which stages of your funnel is the weak link. Okay? So at that time, let's start looking at some of the, look at what are the places where you can optimize to ensure that these numbers are more doable, for you to start with. Let's look at the conversion at each stage. Now here I said that the number of proposals I sent out, or the number of pricing discussions I had, so out of 10, 7 of them are actually getting converted into a sale for me. So now if you just focus on this one area, because this is the most mature part of your funnel, and say that instead of 7, if I'm able to do something and convince one more person, one more business, one more customer in this stage alone, not the entire thing, just this particular stage. So you laser focusing on this particular stage and saying, at this stage, if I am able to improve, streamline, do things, bring changes at this one single stage, and instead of converting 10 out of 10, if I do 8 out of 10, what will happen? So remember that your current visitors is 3,400. And here, if you make it from 70 to 80%. So your number of visitors, if you see, just by improving that one person over here, your number of visitors per month from 3,400 has become 2,976. It's reduced by nearly about 400 counts. Okay, so this way you can actually go to each stage and see. So you may say, okay, you know what, it's impossible for me to improve this better. I think 7 out of 10 is the best that I can do. Okay, but then this stage where I'm having this, where the customers are evaluating my products, I think this is the place where I can influence them more. I have a couple of ideas where I can focus and say that this stage where they're evaluating, I can make sure that we get into a more detailed pricing discussion. That means you're nudging the customer or to start talking commercials. And so then that is there. So instead of 6 out of 10, it becomes one more person and says it becomes 7 out of 10. See what happens. This becomes 2,915. Okay. So like this, you can actually go and see at each stage, identify what are you doing at each stage, and say and think that what can I do at that stage to make an improvement to convince one more customer at this stage. And you may, like I said, you may not be able to do it at all the stages, but at 1 or 2 stages you may be able to do this. For example, the last one, this is the lowest ratio that is there. Generally, the number of inquiries, conversion rates are always low. But what if you start identifying the right customer segments, right? And you are focusing only on instead of reaching out to the world at large, you're focusing on a specific customer segments. And if there you are able to improve on this, so instead of 20%, you're able to add one more person, you're able to convince one more person. See, your numbers goes down to 2,268. That's nearly about 800 counts less, right? So this way, you will be able to, you will be able to break down the effort required at each stage. You're able to evaluate at each stage what can you do to improve and optimize your funnel. And this is why this is a very powerful tool. Because when I've done these exercises with some of the other startups, they realized at specifically what stage they have to make an improvement. Right? Now let's take as an example that this particular stage of yours, your conversion rate is very low. Okay, and you know that conversion now, because you're focusing at each stage and you're looking at your conversion rates, so you know that this is the area that I need to improve upon. Typically what happens is an organization, when they're looking at the sales funnel, they're looking at this one single unit and they don't know where to make the improvement. Here it becomes very, very clear that this is the stage at which I have the lowest conversion. This is where I need to focus upon and bring a change about. So rather than focusing on the entire funnel, I focus on this one single stage and say, what am I doing over here? What is the customer expecting? What is the customer's experience? And how can I improve on that to just improve this one stage?